Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Nafplio, Greece, the first capital of Greece. And today we're going to talk about are some of the don'ts that tourists should know before they come here to Nafplio so they can enjoy it even more, because this town is fantastic. Honestly, Joss and I, this is our favorite town to visit in the entire country because it's got fantastic food, it's got fantastic sights, it has a beautiful old town that you really can enjoy as a tourist. So let's get to those don'ts, which honestly most of the time will sound like do's, okay? But one thing I gotta say is, you see that fortress up there? See that castle up there? That's the Palamidi Castle, or the Palamidi Fortress, and I'm gonna tell you this. Don't think that walking up is the only way. Yes, it's 900 some odd steps to get up there. I've done it before. It is gorgeous. Like, you'll burn up your camera going up that way. But also, you might burn out your legs, and in the sun, you might just burn up and burst into flames because you are exposed to the elements when you're going up there. So what I want to tell you is, one, you don't have to walk up there. You can actually just get a ride, take a taxi up there, a few euros, you'll be fine, and go tour inside of the castle or the fortress. It is actually a cool thing to do. I know last time I walked up there, I was the first person there because you want to go early in the morning, right? So I hiked up all the way there, and literally I got to the top, and the guy unlocks the door as I walk up there. He's like, well, you're the first one here. Welcome. You know, it was just kind of a cool thing because that's one of the things. Here in Nafplio, the people are super friendly, just like everywhere in Greece, but they kind of like take it up another level when it comes to friendliness and that Greek hospitality. But yeah, don't feel you have to walk all the way up there on the steps. And also, if you're here in the summertime and it's really, really hot, like heat wave hop, they'll actually close those steps in the afternoon for your own safety. I'm not gonna lie to you, that is quite the hike. Those 900 plus steps, it actually starts right here. If they are doing a heat wave, they actually will close it in the afternoon. So if you're going to be doing that hike up to the castle, to the fortress up there, start first thing in the morning. I mean, when I went up there, I was the first person at the door. They actually unlocked it for me, and I had to wait a little bit before it actually unlocked. The views are outstanding, but don't feel you have to do the entire hike yourself. You can take a taxi up there or a taxi down to save yourself from all that, because honestly, walking up and walking down was quite a lot. I would take the taxi up and then walk down for the beautiful views. But it is kind of cool up there, the views you have, and when you walk around the castle, the fortress. If you got the energy, it's worth it. Now, when you're exploring the city of Nafplio, when you're walking through, you might get a little Italian vibe. I want to tell you this. Don't be weirded out if you think you're somewhere near Venice, because Nafplio is actually part of the Venetian, empire, and that's why you see the buildings inside the old town, you actually notice, are very Venetian. You'll be like, wait a minute. Is that the St. Mark Lion for Venice? Yes, there is actually, the St. Mark Lion is actually in Constitution Square, right by the very first assembly or parliament of Greece, near the Archaeological Museum. Fantastic square just to sit out and people watch at night. Honestly, don't pass up people watching in the evening, because even though it gets super hot during the day here, during the summer times, once the sun goes down, going out to the squares, going out to eat in the outdoor cafes and restaurants, everything comes along the shorefront and the towns, on the balconies. Yeah. Don't pass up the balconies when you're here. Most likely you're going to be staying in town, and you'll probably have a balcony with your room, and you notice that people use their balconies, whether they sit out and have a drink, or they have a smoke, or they talk to the neighbor across the way. It is one of those things that just makes you love Nafplio even more. I mean, honestly, it is just such a cool square to hang out with the locals, and we're actually here. One of the nights we're here, there's actually a concert right here on the square. I mean, don't pass up being here the night. It's fantastic. Now, another thing I think people need to realize is when you look up Nafplio online, you'll see Nafplio and Nafplion. You'll see one with an N at the end and one without an N. And you think, are those two different cities? I mean, if you use Waze or use Google Maps, they'll have two different names. You're like, wait, is Nafplio and Nafplion, are those two different cities? Because sometimes you feel like that happens sometimes here in Greece, but they're the same place, okay? Just know you can spell it different ways. Nafplio or Nafplion, you'll be okay. They'll still get you to one of the best places to visit in the entire country. And what's great is when you come here, you don't have to worry about the crowds as much. Yes, sometimes the tour groups do come through here to enjoy this beautiful city, but what's cool is when you're driving around and you come here into town, one, I'll talk about this later about the parking, but aside from that part, when you go into town, you really are, it's you. It's you and your group. There's so many fewer tourists than some places on the island, like Santorini or Mykonos or Athens when you're in the capital. You kind of go through here and you're like, wait, I'm actually enjoying Greece by myself or with my family or with my few friends with other Greeks that are here. And that's one of the cool things about it. It's just not having to deal with the crowds over crowds over crowds where you just feel like you're smashed together. And That's a really key thing in the summertime. Now, Greece is famous for its food, and obviously you don't want to miss the fish when you are here. There's fantastic fish restaurants along the water. If you want to go to Tolo, where the great beaches are, and eat there as well, it's a little bit farther away. But honestly, don't miss the seafood when you're here. It's fantastic, but don't think that seafood is what Nafplio is famous for. They are famous for their oranges. So yes, whether it is your orange juice in the morning that's going to be freshly squeezed, that's delicious, or maybe you're getting some chicken that has an orange sauce with it, or if you're going to have some of the orange spoon sweets, which honestly is just like marmalade. Oranges are everywhere, but the one thing you have to have, the one orange thing you have to have when you're here is orange pie. Okay, and the thing is, I guess I'll throw in a don't for that. Don't think orange pie looks like orange pie. Orange pie looks like orange cake, or orange, even like orange bread. I mean, it's more of a cake kind of thing than a pie, but they just call it orange pie here. And you want to have that. You can have it at breakfast, you can have it for dessert. You'll be doing just fine. But oranges are definitely a thing when you're here. And if you're looking for something for your sweet tooth, because this is such a popular place on the sea, people come here from all over Greece, all over the world. It's very touristy. Don't worry about ice cream, because honestly, it seems like I can get ice cream almost everywhere in this town. So when you're walking around, you're getting a little hot, grab some ice cream when you're here. And what's cool is you can get the goat milk ice cream. Yeah, goat milk ice cream. You can get that here too, okay? And also, if you are coming here and you're looking for an adult beverage, one of the nice things about Nafplio, the wines here, the wine tours you can go on, but just drinking the local wines from this region are awesome. But I'll allude to those more when we talk about day trips and things to do when you're in the area. Now, going back to that tourist-centric nature of the old town here, one, don't worry about getting your souvenirs. If you haven't got your souvenirs yet for Greece, you can get them here. Not just the cheap souvenirs, but they actually have really good souvenirs when you're here. And I'll talk about the worry beads and stuff, but honestly, you get a lot of your Greek souvenirs to take home, to keep with you. Like, we're bringing some wine home from here. We're bringing worry beads back from here as a gift. So we have all kinds of stuff that we got here, but they have nicer stores for tourists versus the usual, Snow Globe and Magnet. I mean, they have those too, don't worry. But they have a little bit nicer things to get. So that's kind of a nicer little shopping thing here. Also, if you miss drive-ins, okay? Well, they're not gonna have a drive-in here because people don't drive as much. But what's cool, don't miss seeing a movie at Cine Nafplio. It's honestly just basically, that view you have behind me, imagine there's a movie screen right below it. It's an outdoor theater that at 9:30 at night, they have movies. And it's not like old movies. It's like, whatever the newest flick is coming out, boom, they're going to be putting it on there. And the whole town comes to enjoy it. And it's really nice to go see and do, especially after a day of maybe hitting the beach or going to like Mycenae and some of the history stuff, or just shopping, or just enjoying the beautiful town. Sometimes it's cool just to chill out, relax, and watch a movie. And also, the movies here are in the original language with Greek subtitles, so you don't have to worry about learning Greek to enjoy a movie when you're here in Nafplio. Now, I know I've mentioned our fun castle up here, but I gotta tell you this. Don't forget there are other castles when you are here. The Birdsea Castle, which I'm sure I'm butchering because I'm not Greek, and don't feel bad if you butcher the Greek. They understand that you're trying at least. But the Birdsea Castle, that's that little island out there that has the little castle on it. You can actually take a ferry out there. A little boat will go out there during the day to kind of go drop you off. You get to walk around for a bit, hop back on the boat and come back. And what's fun about that is, historically speaking, there used to be a chain from that castle to the port that was actually used to kind of block off the port so the bad guys couldn't get in, okay? So you have that one, but also there's, I would say, the third one, which is weird because you have this one up here, the top one, then you got one at the end of the water down here, the Birdsea, and then there's one that's just kind of castle ruins that you'll see when you're in the old town and you look up and you'll see the clock tower up there and you'll see some ruins. That's another castle that is here, but honestly, as a tourist, you're probably just gonna look at the ruins from outside. It's not like up here where you can actually go walk through it or go adventure out on the island and do that. Now let's focus on some of the cultural things when you're here. And I gotta tell you, don't miss out on the Archaeological Museum when you are here. It's right on the Constitution Square. You can see it. And also don't forget the history that's right by there, because the first parliament of Greece is actually right next to the Archaeological Museum. You can see that. But also don't forget some of the smaller museums around here. Yes, there's a little war museum you can go to. You can't take pictures inside, hence why I don't have any pictures inside of it. But he goes through, tells us a little bit about the War of Independence and some other wars that the Greeks have fought in. So it's kind of a nice little thing to go through. It's like €3, so it's really cheap just to get yourself out of the heat. Another thing, the worry beads. There's a little worry beads museum. I mean, literally, it's the second floor of a shop, but it's something that's actually from here. The worry beads, that's a good kind of souvenir to take away from Nafplio. That's worth going to. And then I would be remiss if I don't talk about my mom's favorite museum here. That is the Folklore Museum, where you can see the dress of people from the Nafplio region, where you can see some of the furniture and, just how lives were. That's another thing that can kind of help you learn more about the culture around here. Now, those are all museums here in the old town, but the thing is, if you want to see really old history when you're here, like the really important sites when you come here, don't miss out on the UNESCO World Heritage sites that are right by Nafplio, okay? Right, I mean, we were talking like 10 miles, 15 kilometers out of town, you have Mycenae, where the Lion Gate is there, and that's where the Mycenaeans are from. If you were in Athens, you saw the massive Agamemnon. That is where they found it. That's there. It's fantastic to go and explore all the ruins that are there. And then there's the other UNESCO World Heritage Site about a half-hour drive from here is Epidaurus. And Epidaurus, the theater there, it literally is the best example of a Greek theater you can see anywhere in the world. I mean, it is a place to be. There's a reason why it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So you have those two UNESCO sites that are right by here. And honestly, if you're going to be driving here, which you should, you can easily drive on your own. No big deal. You don't have to worry about traffic or any crazy driving because it's all really close by. But I will say, if we're talking about driving, don't expect to park near your hotel if you're staying in the old city of Nafplio. You're probably going to have to park out by the port and maybe have a 5-10 minute walk to your hotel with your luggage. So that's why I'd say is if you're going to drive on your own, don't bring a lot of luggage. Don't overpack when you're coming here because you do need to drag yourself through the city. But I mean, it's a relatively small old town and it's flat, so that's really nice. But just have a heads up for that. Now, I know we talked about UNESCO World Heritage Sites, we talked about little museums, but also I got to talk about the fun stuff, and that is, don't forget to bring your swim trunks when you come to Nafplio. It's not just this gorgeous Venetian town. There's beaches around here as well. Honestly, if you're here in town and you're kind of thinking about walking up to the castle, well, you'll notice there's a sign to the beaches on the other side. And you go to the other side of the old town and there's a stone beach there. Not super comfortable, but the water is gorgeous. There's a bar there, really nice. And honestly, there's other places you can swim right around here. But if you want a good sandy beach, go to Tolo Beach. I mean, it's not far. You got your own car. You can drive there. You get a taxi there. Fantastic beaches there. Also really good fish restaurants. So you can kind of combine the two, but you can have a history, cultural city, and the beaches as well. I mean, it's true Greece. You can understand why it was the first capital. It fit in perfectly, right? And that's just it. When you're here in Nafplio, you start to realize that this is a really great destination. From the family friendliness, the beautiful shops, to the beautiful Venetian city, the castles that are all over. It's a fantastic place. But also, don't forget, you can use this as a base to go on and explore more of the Peloponnese. Yes, Mycenae and Epidaurus that I talked about, but you can go farther. You want to go see the old Corinth, ancient Corinth, you can go there. Heck, we were visiting Jocelyn's family all over the Peloponnese, using this as our base because there's so much tourism infrastructure here for you to enjoy. And don't forget, you can do some tours from here as well if you don't want to use public transportation. So you do have that option of use this as a nice little base. And honestly, sometimes you don't want to be the driver because another thing is, don't forget, some of the best wine in Greece is actually made here by Nafplio. So you're going to love the wine here, but also there's some wine tours you can do, some wine tastings you can do. I mean, hello, who doesn't enjoy that? And maybe don't do that while you're driving because that's illegal here. So even though it might seem like some of the people are drunk when they're driving, no, don't do that. No drink driving here. But the thing is, the wine here is really good. You can have a wonderful time using this as a base. And then I got to tell you this. When you are here, if you're on the square, you're on the waterfront, or wherever you are at sunset, go enjoy the sunset. Go enjoy the evening here in Nafplio because people come out, they bring their kids, they bring grandma, everybody's out and about in the evening time, like when it finally cools off and you just enjoy being a part of everything. So your kids can play with local kids. You can chat with the locals when you're here or the other tourists when you're here. And that's one thing that's great. It's just that sunset when the sun goes down, how much it cools off on those hot summer days, but also how the city really comes alive, and it really shows you why you love coming to Greece, all right? So I hope this helps you know some of the do's and don'ts of visiting Nafplio. Definitely do come here because honestly, it is our favorite city to visit here in Greece because it really has something for everybody. Anyway, I'll say bye from here in Nafplio.